Hi, I'm Jake Blake. I'm a guitar specialist here at Kraft Music, and I get a lot of guitar-related inquiries come in either via phone or email, many of which are very common questions that have to do with maintenance tips or how do I tune my guitar, things that would be very helpful for any player at any level. So what I thought we would do is devote a little time at addressing some of these questions. Okay, a very common question we get here at Kraft Music is regarding the guitar's setup. In other words, does my guitar need to be set up after I receive it? Well, simple answer to that is no. It was already set up by the manufacturer, the people who built it. Those are done within very exacting standards. Okay, these are set up beautifully. They are very consistent straight out of the box, and they will arrive in great playing condition with 0 fret noise. Okay, will my guitar arrive in tune? That's a question I get from time to time, and it's a good question. The simple answer to that is no, it's not going to arrive in tune. It's just like any stringed instrument. They are very temperamental, and they need to be tuned on a regular basis. And I thought that I would share some tips and tricks with you on how I tune my guitar and how I try to keep it in tune. So hopefully that'll help you out as it's helped me. Let's talk about how to tune your guitar. Very important. The easiest way, and probably the most popular way, is by using an electronic tuner. This particular model is a clip-on tuner that if you receive one of our bundles, you might have received this particular model. This clips right onto the headstock of the guitar. It's very important to note that that is how it works. It doesn't have a microphone built in. It picks up the vibrations through the wood of the guitar, so it must be clipped on. And very simply, you turn it on and you play your low note. Start with the low E. And as you can see, this is a little flat, so this needs to be tightened. And there we go. Once it is locked in, and a little bit more. And once it is locked in like this, that means you're in tune, and you can go to the next one. There, the A is a little flat. A little bit too much. It's a good idea to tug on the string too to make sure it's set. There, that's locked in as well. And just repeat the process all the way up till you've tuned all 6 strings, and then you should be good to go. If you don't have an electronic tuner, no problem. You can always tune by ear. However, you'll need a reference pitch first. Now, the easiest way to do that, if you have a piano or a keyboard at home, is to find your low E note, play that on the piano, and try to match your low E in pitch to that note. If you don't have a piano or a keyboard around the house, here's your reference note. There's your low E, okay? Now, tuning the rest of the guitar can be done very easily by ear, but it's very important that you follow these simple steps. First, you have to fret the 5th fret, okay, on the E string in order to get the next string down, which is an A, all right? So, ooh, that's out of tune. Sounds like the A is a little too low or flat. Now what you want to do, tune until you hear that the warbling stop. And a little trick that I used to do is close my eyes and play the 2 strings at the same time. And if it sounds like 1 string, you're in tune. If it sounds like 2, you're out of tune. So repeating the process now, playing on that 5th fret on the A string, you want to get that D, the next string down, And that sounds a little flat as well, so tune that until the warbling stops. Now close my eyes. That sounds like one string to me. So repeat the process. Now going to the 5th fret on the D string, playing the next one down, which is a G. Well, that sounds a little sharp. So we loosen that one up. Still a little sharp. We're getting there. Sounds like one string to me. Okay, now the only exception in this process here is to get the B string, we need to play the G at the 4th fret instead of the 5th fret. So it sounds a little bit, just a touch off there. That sounds on. Sounds like one string. Now lastly, back to the 5th fret for the last string, the E. That sounds right on. There, she's in tune. Okay, let's talk about the standard guitar inspection. What does that entail? I get this question a lot. Well, the guitars are set up very well at the manufacturer level within very precise standards, and we want to ensure that those standards have been met. Okay, so we're going to inspect the guitar thoroughly. We're going to check the finish. We're going to check the internal bracing. We're going to make sure that the string height is where it's supposed to be. And in the unlikely event that any of these standards have not been met, we're not going to ship that guitar to you. We're going to grab the next one off the shelf. We're going to inspect that one thoroughly and ensure that one is within specs. That's the one that you're going to get. And when it arrives, it's going to be in great playing condition. I'd like to share some common sense practices that I've always employed for my own guitars, and it's helped my strings last longer. My guitars are, I have some that are decades old and they're still as good as they were when I picked them off the wall. First and foremost, wash your hands before you play. Before you even touch the instrument, wash your hands. It is going to keep any kind of oil, residue, dead skin cells that you have on your hands, it's going to keep them off the guitar. It's going to help the strings last longer. It's going to help the fingerboard last longer. All right? Another one, keep the guitar in the case if you're not playing for prolonged periods of time. If you're playing a gig or if you want to put your guitar in the stand because you know you're going to go back to it in 10 minutes, that's fine. But if you leave it out, it is going to be exposed to whatever is in the air. If you put it in the case, it is going to protect it from whatever's in the air. Again, those are two very simple, common sense practices that are going to help your guitar last longer. Do I need to humidify my acoustic guitar? Sometimes. It could be yes and no. If you live in a particularly dry climate, think Las Vegas. If you live there, you're going to need to humidify your guitar. You're going to need to humidify your whole house. The idea is you want to keep the humidity level at roughly 40%. You don't want to go any lower than that. The idea is to keep things consistent as possible as well. So if you think about, say, the Midwest or where we are, the summertime, it gets very humid. It's like Florida hot and humid. In the wintertime, it can get a little dry, particularly with all the forced air heat. Now, the best way to humidify the guitar is from the inside of the guitar. That's why we have humidifiers. When you put the humidifier inside the guitar, it will maintain the consistency of the humidity. So you're not going from too drastic a change. You're not going from too dry to too wet. But if, again, if your humidifier, if the humidity level drops below 40% consistently, then you're going to want to think about a humidifier for your guitar. Okay, there you have it. Those are some of the more common guitar-related questions we get here, and I hope I've been helpful in answering some of those. If you have any other questions above and beyond what I've discussed here today, feel free to leave a comment or contact us here at Kraft Music. Once again, I'm Jake Blake. Thank you for watching.